with a little bit of guided practice, like 5 survival skills, you'll know everything you need to know to edit your big files and buy, and then the rest is just icing on the cake that is very easy and addictive to know. So essentially, this is why we use Buy. It's powerful, it's got a whole bunch of plugins for it. If you use it, I don't use a lot of plugins. Solarize me. And it's a viable skill for when you're not stuff. Come on. That was good humor there, guys.
Why do you call it viable there? Why not survival skills?
Sorry?
Survival skills?
Got me my own dad joke. Okay, so that's a good one. Oh, yeah, I should change that. Yeah, before I give it to Paul. Survival skills. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right, guys. But these are the Buy survival. So let's just close the door so that we can see the right hand side. But what you have to remember with Buy is it's Buy whole editor. So we've got, well, according to the Vim website, it's command mode and insert mode, and basically your whole keyboard is a series of functions. The keyboard combinations are a series of functions in command mode. So you can have, there are over 1,200 different functions in Buy. Yeah, and it's growing, so there's probably more than 1,200 functions in Buy right now. In command mode, you type the letter X, you're not typing X in command mode, you're deleting one character, right? But when you go to insert mode, via one of 63 different ways, I've listed a few of them on there, then you're telling Buy, I want to actually type what I'm typing on the keyboard, right? So you just got to keep in mind, when you go back to the command mode, you get back there just by pressing escape. If you get a MacBook, just do, with the touch bar, you don't have an escape key, just get used to control left bracket, I put that on the next one, or you can remap the keys.
Actually, I have a MacBook, and if you hit anything up in the upper left-hand corner, and I mean anything, it'll escape. Like
Really?
within a couple inches, you don't even have to hit the escape key. If you just slap it there, it'll hit escape.
Good.
On the touch bar. On the touch bar.
Yeah.
So it's an invisible big escape bar.
Yeah, yeah. But if you don't like that, then you could, I've heard of people mapping, like in the OS, map caps lock to it, which doesn't make much sense. Or, I'll do a couple examples of what you can get around there if you use that knife. So you can escape from that. But essentially, if I freeze that screen, you said left? Okay, so if I freeze that, great and frozen, and I go to the right-hand side here, you'll notice that I've got a terminal prompt up here. I'm in Pop! OS. This is a nice state-of-your-way distribution, and I'm just going to go into a class file directory. Now you can get this, I put a link on the top, as you can see, git clone some class files.git. It's got some great text files you can edit, and I've already cloned that, so I'm going to tab into that directory, and you'll see a whole bunch of files in there you can play with. One of them is a file called small_town, so if you want to practice fixing the typos in that joke file, if you grew up in a small town, you'll use all your Buy survival skills. But I'm just going to Buy letter. So I'm going to type Buy letter, same as Vim letter, right? And when I open it up, you guys remember this poem by Alan Sherman, right? Hello Mother, Hello Father. You can tell the end of the file because of the tildes. And at the very bottom, it'll say letters, 28 lines, 1,044 characters. And it tells me where I am. On line 28, right? And it's the first character after a tab. 8 characters in, right? So that's called a ruler. It's not always on by default. I always turn it on by editing the file. We'll talk about it in a few minutes. But here's a neat thing. I'm in command mode. So if I type X, I'm actually going to delete that H in hello. And if I type U, it'll undo it, right? If I didn't have that ruler at the bottom, I could type Control-G. And if I want to join lines, so I don't want to have all these enter keys at the end of every line, these hard line returns. I can do a Shift J, capital J, and it will just join the line underneath me to the line I'm on. So Shift J, and there we go, Shift J. Keep on doing a Shift J. I'm going to make one big long file that is one line. Just one line. Oops, it's one line. So how do I undo without all that stuff? I just hold down the U key for undo, because everything on my keyboard is a function. Okay? If I want to go into insert mode, I can just type I, and if I type I while my cursor is on the H in Hello Mother, Hello Father, it'll start typing right before the H in hello mother, hello father. And there's a subtle difference between using I or A or O, okay? And it's important to know all of them because when you get used to using Vi, you don't want to navigate too much. You just want to like put it where you want to put it in the config file or the YAML file or whatever you're editing, right? And so where your cursor actually is when you go into insert mode actually is quite important. So I type lowercase I, inserted before the character is on. And I'm in insert mode because it tells me at the very bottom. You can turn that off if you know, as you get to a more advanced, you know, level of usage of Vi. I always turn off this show mode, right? But it's on by default, right? So you know you're in insert mode. How do you get back to command mode? You press escape. Or hit a MacBook in the upper left-hand corner and pray. But at the top here, if I went down to the line, it says, here I am at Camp Granada, and I put the cursor on the H in here, and I type A. I'm in insert mode again. I saw insert, but notice, if I start typing, this is cool, it starts typing after the H, right? So it is very important to know which character that you want to use. If I press escape again to get back to command mode, so the insert mode disappears at the bottom, and I go down to the line that says all the counselors hate the waiters, and I've got my cursor in the middle of that line. If I type lowercase o, it opens a line underneath me to start typing the most valuable character, especially for config files. Right, open a line underneath me to start typing something, right? But the capital versions of it do something as well. So if I press escape and I go back to command mode and I go to the middle of this line that says, now I don't want this to scare you. I don't. And I do a capital I, it'll take my cursor to the beginning of the line and take me into insert mode. So Shift I, capital I, I'm in insert mode, but now I'm at the beginning of the line. Press escape and do a Shift A, capital A, now I'm at the end of the line in insert mode. And I can start typing at the end of the line, very useful. Or small o, open a line underneath me, what would capital O do? Open a line above me, right? C will change characters until you press escape. R replaces one character. I love this one. So you could, you know, back in the old days, I would love to play pranks on people. I'd Vi at Z init tab and replace the default run level from 5 to 6. But just constantly reboot. So you just go to the number 5, you type R6, replace 5 with 6. It just replaces that one character and kicks you back to command mode again, right? So if I want to replace the you know, hello father with, you know, the F with something else, like the number 6, R6. There we go. I just typed R6. I'm going to get used to this eventually. And it says, hello, 6 other. And notice I'm not in insert mode. It kicked me right back out. It's just replaced one character. So those are different ways of getting into insert mode. There's 63 different ways. Great. Vi is huge. Great. But when you're in command mode, this is where all the useful stuff happens. Like you can undo everything. I hold down that U key, I'm back up to normal. If I want to copy and paste, I could type YY to yank a line, and then P will paste underneath the line I'm on. I could do that several times. Capital P will paste above the line I'm on, just like small o, capital O. YW, you yank one word. Y3W, yank 3 words. That's copy 3 words into the buffer. How would I copy these 2 lines? Well, I could do Y2Y, you know, or Y10Y to copy 10 lines. And then I could paste them right here. Perfect, and paste them again, right? So there's many different ways of copying and pasting. DD will delete a line, D3D will delete 3 lines, or 3 DDs in a row. I can't do DD3 because that will delete 1 line. I wonder what 3 is right here. D5W, delete 5 words. 5DW, same thing, 5 delete words in a row. X, delete 1 character. How would I delete 3 characters?
3x.
3x. So if I type 3x, oops, not keyword, 3x, there we go. It's not here, it's E. If I go down here to and I type 3x, I get rid of the whole word and. Or I could just do DW, big word. So you'll get used to this. It's not that hard. It's actually very easy and addictive. Once you start playing with it by buying one joke file and making changes, you're probably a pro at it. The thing is command mode and insert mode are not the only two modes in this file. Let me just press escape to get back to command mode if I'm not sure, and press U to undo all my changes. There we go, back to normal. I'll get used to left and right eventually. And if you want to do anything else, something advanced, you have to go to the colon prompt, which is called X mode. You know, X, Y is a visual version of X. You can do everything at the colon prompt when you have line print everything. So if I go over here to line terminal, sorry. If I go to the colon prompt at the very bottom, shift colon, takes me to an interactive prompt. That's where I can save and quit. So Q-bang would quit and throw away my changes. WQ would save and quit, or just X would do the same thing. But the fastest way is out of the colon prompt. When you're in command mode, just regular command mode, you didn't go to the colon prompt, just go shift Z. That saves you one keystroke, 5 kilojoules of energy. And that adds up over time, and you can ask your boss for a raise, because now you're more energy compliant according to the company's value. So I could type, X or WQ and quit out of there, and I'm back in my prompt. But the quickest way is actually, while I'm in command mode, which I am by default, shift ZZ. There we go. So that's my favorite. But there's all sorts of other things. I'm going to buy a letter again. Why didn't I type VIN letter? It's the same thing. 5 is the shortcut of VIN. 5 kilojoules of energy per keystroke, guys.
But what if you want to lose weight? Can I type like Vim hyphen tiny by hand?
If you want to lose weight, use Emacs. There we go. So, get used to that control key.
You're not energy
All right,
compliant.
There we go. Or nano, heaven forbid. All right, so good luck trying to do anything fancy there. Search and replace. So if we go down to the last few things I put on the survival mode, if you go to that colon prompt, there are a bunch of variables set by. These are things like how many spaces are make up a tab. By default, it's 8, and I hate that. I always set it to 4. Do we show whether I'm in insert mode or not with a little insert at the bottom? That's show mode. Do I use line numbering? I always turn on line numbering. Well, if you want to see all these things, I can type set all, and there's a couple pages of them, and most of them are set to like on or off. So you'll see like no number. See no number there? If it's number, line number, it's on. If it's no number, it's not on. I see, there's another one that we have on there, show mode. Let me go down to the next one. Yeah, show mode, it's on. If I want to set it to no show mode, I turn it off. And if you want to turn these on or off, I'm going to quit out of there, this is more command. I could type set and whatever, like set number would turn on line numbering. Now I've got line numbers for everything, right, in Vi. If I want to turn it off, it would be set no number. Turn it off. So those are the basics. If you keep to those basics, if you've never used Vi before, you just keep to this slide right here, and you Vi that joke file and fix all the typos, which forces you to understand all these. You'll get by with editing any config file, but you'll quickly want to go further. So I'm going to escape colon Q bang. There we go, quit through my any changes that I made. And I'm going to Vi small underscore town. And there's a lot of typos here. It's definitely not mosh pit, probably mash pit, or mash pit, mosh pit. Right? There's repeated lines, there's stuff all over the place. If you can fix up this file while laughing at the jokes and make it perfect, then you'll be a pro in Vi. That's how easy, there's very little learning curve. It just looks scary because people don't realize it's a bimodal editor. If you just keep that in mind while you're editing this file, within an hour you'll be a Vi pro. Okay? But there's a lot more to Vi. And so you'll quickly want to, as you're vying your config files or YAML files or Ruby programs, Python programs, right? But we were talking about data, deep learning earlier. Right? You guys know the difference between deep learning and AI, right? Deep learning, if it's written in Python, it's deep learning. If it's written in PowerPoint, it's AI. Can't edit PowerPoint with Vi, but you can edit Python. Right? So I'm going to quit out of there. Escape colon Q. Escape takes me back to command mode, right? You can press escape as many times as you want, doesn't hurt, right? And then colon takes you to the X mode, the colon prompt, we call it X mode, and then Q bang, quit, throw any changes. One of the things that you'll definitely want to do, and I'm going to unfreeze my screen here now, so let's unfreeze that, is let's go back over here to the slide there. And in case you didn't remember what each of those things meant, I put an expanded version here because I'm going to share this out with, you know, well, share it out. At the bottom, I just put in if you got a macro. Because not all of them, some of them have escape keys still if you have the touch bar. And there we go. If you have it like at 2012, you're good, right? I just put what they mean, but the rest I didn't because after the 5 survival skills, the training wheels kind of come on. And some things you gotta remember, and this is really important, is there is a default file where if you set line number and you want it on every time you buy a file, just make sure you put a .vimrc or .exrc, because that was what Vim used to be called, right? And which one's less typing?
Yeah.
So I use .exrc for everything, right? 5 kilojoules, guys, holy moly. And you put that in your home directory, and no matter what you buy, it looks in your home directory for that. If you don't have a .vim subdirectory with other stuff like plugins. If you have a .vim subdirectory that you make, you can just put vimrc or exrc in there. You don't have to make it hidden, right? Because the Vim subdirectory is already hidden. But most people don't add plugins to buy. I do not. I used to just to play with it, like Solarize and whatnot. And I realized it's a pain in the butt. It's not portable. It's slowing me down, and I'm using Vi because Vi is the fastest editor on the planet, and that's why I like Vi. It has everything I need. Lots of stuff, 1,200 things, and I don't use most of them. But if you add this to your .exrc, these are the ones that I like to use. Set numbering, I always turn on line numbering, I always turn on the ruler. It's not by default in PopOS, but it is in another distro. That tells me where I am in the file, and it also tells me when I tab in stuff that I'm on, you know, this is the first real character after the tab, you know, 20 characters in. Show match will show matching braces when you enter them or when you highlight them, you navigate to them. Very important if you're coding. I'll show you that in a minute. No show mode, I always turn show mode off. Once I'm used to it, the insert at the bottom is just a visual distractor, so I turn it off. Keep it on until the training wheels come off. You're good at 5, and then do a no show mode. Tab space, I make it equal to 4. 8 space, my personal preference. Syntax on means that you'll understand programming syntax, hundreds of languages and keywords, and it will code them for you. I'll show that in a few seconds. And this is if you have a MacBook, you could also remap the keys, like capital P with escape or something like that. So you could do it right in Vi, you don't have to do it in your OS. So that would be an example of how those work. And we can actually edit that. So if I freeze my screen over here, I'm just going to freeze that. And let's go back over here to my prompt. I'm going to say, let's go into the bin directory. I've got a little shell script I made in there called treed, just be a tree diagram. There's no tree command in Unix, so I made one. And it's a very small shell script, so treed. And you can see it color codes it because by default, syntax on is one of the defaults. It's actually the default for the global system. User share Vim, vimrc are global defaults, and your home directory can be your user-specific defaults to override that. Syntax on is on by default on PopOS, so that's why it's there. And if you like sed, I think I had my students trace this for extra marks. You had that right, Nathan. You traced it, I think, right? That's fascinating. It looks scary. It's really not that scary at all. This is my favorite part of the shell script is the very beginning, which is the shortcut to the hash string, because I'm very lazy. I like to save kilojoules. It's a shortcut to the true command. And if you do that at the beginning, it just says use the current shell. So if I go down here, notice that everything's color-coded, but if I scroll up or down and I go to these brackets, notice it highlights the brackets, right? It highlights these parentheses. See that? I can see the scope of it, right? That's because one of the global defaults is that I want to show matching brackets, okay? And so you can add these to your .exrc. The one thing I don't have here is line numbering on and tab space equal to 4 is probably not on. The default is 8 on everything. So I'm going to quit out of there. Escape : Q. or Shift Z, even though I didn't make any changes. And I'm going to buy my .exrc because I'm lazy. If you have a .exrc and a vimrc, .vimrc, it'll first look at the vimrc, so don't make a vimrc, make a .exrc. Yeah. And I'm gonna set number as the only one that I think we didn't have all by default. And what's that?
I'm gonna save you 20 calories. You can do NU instead of number.
Oh, yes, that's actually better. So that's, yeah, makes it kind of a little less educational for the slide though. Probably we should leave it numbered. That one is probably
But
yeah.
if you're jumping onto a random Unix server somewhere and going to line 50, that NU is the faster way to get to line 50.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, colon 50 is.
So now that I buy my .exrc, I can just open up that same treaty script, and of course line number's on. And when I add, and notice the tabs are not 8 anymore, they're only 4. Nice. Better, especially if you're coding in Python. Yes. I gave a book to someone who was learning Python that works in Mississauga, and it's a 900-page book, and it's like, oh my God, it's 900 pages. Like, don't worry, it's most white space. Okay, so there's some other stuff you can do here. Let me quit out of here because that's the coding stuff, but let me go back to letter. So let me buy a letter in my parent directory there. And when I open up letter, I mean, we could do like at the colon prompt at the EX mode, I could, search the entire file for and replace it with wow globally, which means, globally means if there's more than one occurrence in a line, it'll replace both occurrences in one. But I could also do a range from line 1 to the end of the file. Now, I didn't talk about navigation because most people, that's a very personal thing. There's 100 different ways to navigate and find. You can use HKJL. Whoever uses that, anyone use that? Really?
It's faster than going to the direction.
I don't use it because I don't find it faster. I find it slower for me. It's a
Depends on
personal
how far I
preference.
have to move.
Yeah.
If it's paging down, I page down.
Yeah, some people page down, but I don't page down. I use shortcuts. In fact, you can see this on the board. I mean, 1G means go to the first line of the file. Shift G, end of the file. 23G would go to the line 23 of the file. That's a capital G there, see that? Or if I'm in a line, I could go to the middle of a line right here, and I'm using the cursor keys on purpose, right? I've used them up until now, right? So let me go down to the middle of a line right here, like now I don't want this to scare you. And if I'm in the middle of a line in Vi, and I press like caret or 0, I'm taken to the beginning of the line in command mode. If I do $, it means end of line. $, always means end of something. 0 or caret always means beginning of something, right? If I do like 1G, I'm at the beginning, first line, right? If I do Shift G, I'm always at the end, the last line. So I typically I find that those are faster for me, and cursor keys. Because on most keyboards today, the cursor keys are just really nice and well placed, right? I don't know, even on laptops, right? Yeah, but you could choose JK and L. There's also other ways. There's, okay, I forgot the number. It's over 100. There's over 100 different navigation commands to find. And so it's a personal preference. So I didn't include them in the slide. Just kind of Google them. Most people will probably stick with the cursor keys. But if you get used to 0 or $, that's great. If you get used to, number the line G or Shift G to the end, or HJKL, or map your own. I know people who map their own. That's creepy for navigation, right?
How you position the cursor on a specific word?
You can search for it. So if I go up to say line 1, so 1 capital G, and I want to search for the mother, I do a / so as soon as I type / it takes me to the bottom. I'm not at the colon prompt. I just type / it means forward search. Question mark would be reverse search. Forward search for mother takes me to the first occurrence of mother. And if I press N, I go to the next occurrence. See that? And the next occurrence. What would capital N do? Back, right? Remember, capital version does the opposite, right? If I do the question mark, it's the same thing, right?
So for the word, you can also do W and V. So W will jump by white space separated words or punctuation white space.
Yep, that's another
Almost all the
navigation
time.
command. You could jump to word to word to word. So I don't use those, but it's a personal preference. You stick with the ones that you like to use. So that's why I didn't include those on the slide. That's why I drew this little kind of diagram here. I didn't want it to mess up my slide because there's so many different ways of doing navigation. Most people probably stick with the cursor keys, but investigate the other ones. Have fun. As you dive down this rabbit hole, which is addictive, you'll find one that works for you, and you'll just.
How you position the cursor on that after I promise? I promise that. I want to put the cursor on that.
Yeah, I promise. Words, I promise.
On the fourth paragraph.
Three lines.
Search promise.
Four lines. Third line, fourth paragraph.
Oh,
Take me home, I promise I won't.
there you go. From there. Or wait, one more.
Oh, you're searching for I?
Reverse search. For capital, yeah. See, there's always little tricks to it, right? You kind of get creative, or you could do like, I know it's on line 16, right? So 16G/I, right? So as you get they're just little keys, right? So you get really, really fast with I. Once you memorize them, and you memorize like one of like 15 different ways of doing the same kind of thing. So that would be my way. So these are some of my ways. This is kind of cool. Like if you you can make an abbreviation. Every time you type L and X in insert mode, it'll print Linux rocks or something, right? You could read proposal 1. So if I go up to the top and I want, or at bottom line, notice I scroll down there. I could have just done Shift G. If I type, go to the colon prompt, I type R proposal. Well, it's in my parent directory. So .. / proposal. Tab it out. Proposal 1. I'm reading the contents of proposal 1. Right? The Girl Scout pledge. The Girl Scout. And reads it right underneath the file. I could also, like if I go up to the top here, I could read the output of a command. Like for example, I could go to the colon prompt, type R, bang, date, right? Bang means run this command. I put the output there. Underneath the line I'm on, you can't use capital letter. Do it above the line. So if you want to switch those two lines, you could just do DDP. DDP. Delete a line, which copies it to the buffer and pastes it underneath the line you're on. It just swaps the two lines. Get it? So you get real fast once you know the basics. You start experimenting with it, right? Live is very addictive, right? So that's kind of cool. Or tilde will change the case. So if I do a tilde right here, it'll just change the case. You know, it's hello without a capital H and capital everything else. Or if I go down to the bottom to the bottom line, I do a GUU. It turns the entire line uppercase, which makes the Girl Scout pledge a lot more ominous. A little caps lock on her head. So you can have a lot of fun with this stuff, guys. But let me flip that off. Here's some other stuff. I won't demo it. Well, maybe I'll demo a few of these. But there's a Vim tutor. So I don't like it. But there is a tutor that's actually very involved and kind of like a tutorial. It'll take you several hours to get through it. And it's in Vim. You type Vim tutor, it opens up this tutorial in Vim that guides you through, showing you how to use Vim. More in depth than what I've done. It's not installed by default in most distros, because most distros come with like Vi minimal or like just Vi. You don't want none of the other junk, right? And you probably have to install it afterwards. So like DNF or apt install the full Vim package if you want to get it. So just update the minimal or the tiny version and install the full version of Vim. You won't notice any difference in Vim, but you will get Vim tutor, right? So the tutor's there. Also, at the colon prompt, at the X mode, you can type help. You type help if you don't know how to use help, and it opens up another pane. Or you want help with the P command, or anything that starts with P or capital P, it'll show you that, right? This just says don't freak out, so there's some humor built into Vi. It shows you, obviously, you guys know what that should show you. The answer to the life universe and everything. Help quote shows you funny Vi quotes. Help Holy Grail shows you every command you can type at the colon prompt. It's the Holy Grail. Okay? So we could go over here and we could do like a, help P, and it shows me here's the P command, put text after, or capital P above it, right? You know, and I can escape it the same way I escape anything in Vi. I've just got another pane on top of me, vertically, right? Escape, colon, Q. Now I'm back in my file, right? Or if I do like, help, Holy Grail, there we go. You found it. Oh, these are all the X commands. You can scroll down, you can search. How would I search? Yeah, it's Vi, right? So yeah, it's cool. Vi is very addictive. It's very fast. It makes sense. That's why I like it so much, and it's pretty much on every Unix and Linux thing ever kind of thing, right? I mean, I'm sure you'll find a system that doesn't have it, or if you build one, but those systems are crazy. You should always have it. Okay, so yeah, I think what came with Nano by default? There was a distro that just came with Nano. It's like really bugged me. Like, are you kidding me? No other editor but Nano.
Ubuntu did.
Ubuntu, yeah, that's right. It was Ubuntu. Earlier version, that bugged me to no end. You know when get bugged by that? Nobody should use Nano. Friends don't let friends use Nano. It seemed like a small thing, but
Jason, so much easier to roll off for somebody.
it is so much easier to explain to somebody, but those people should not be using it.
Wow.
So anyway, there's some sweat equity here, you know what I mean? Okay, so here's some other things that are really cool. Like I tried to think of some stuff that I use and some stuff that I don't use. I'll tell you which ones I don't use, but things that you'll probably find useful or that you may use. I do a lot of development in Vi. I use Vi daily, and I'm not exaggerating here. I use Vi daily. I use Vi for everything. I use Vi for development. Okay, and I have it pimped out and everything, and I use multiple tabs, stuff like that. You can split windows. You can open up another window. So like, if I type at the colon prompt E proposal 1, that would switch from me editing letter to me editing proposal 1. Okay, so I'm just switching my file, right? But if I do like a split, that'll do a horizontal split, and I'll see both files. Vertical split, right? Kind of like Tmux, right? And Control WW will just flip between the windows. You can Control WW, Control WW. You can do Control W underscore equal to maximize or minimize the one that you're currently on. So if we want to practice some of that kind of stuff there, I'm just going to freeze that and then switch over here to Vi. I'm going to undo all my changes there. We did kind of a lot. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to go like here. That's split. That's a horizontal split. Proposal 1. Oh, this is my parent directory. There we go. And now it's split. Now I got proposal 1 at the top and at the bottom. If I want to switch between them, Control WW, Control WW, Control WW. All the same commands work in either window. Right? If you got lots of real estate, I have a widescreen monitor that I have vertical. Who does that like me? Why do I do that? Because I split a lot.
No, I just to see my function.
I use VimDiff and get a lot too. What's that?
It's paper sheet.
It's also
portrait mode.
Yeah, and all the cool kids are doing it too, right? So I see, like, go to Reddit to the Unix porn channel, you'll see a lot. But
Pull a line out of one half, put it in the other half.
yeah. No, I might as well do the Control W underscore. That maximize my small one, but I can still see the on my honor from proposal 1. So Control W equal will go back to equal, right? Whatever, you know. So I use that a lot actually. What I don't use is the other way to do it, and this is because I have my second monitor vertical. So this makes more sense. Horizontal splits. You can do vertical splits as well. It's just V split instead of horizontal split. But if I, quit out of there and I'm back at that file, and I quit out of that, I'm back to my shell prompt, right? I can also get a shell prompt in Vi, which doesn't really make any sense because you just open up another prompt just by going colon and sh, and then you can exit to get back to Vi. But I didn't put that on there because it's not really that useful. There's other ways to do it. But tabs, you can also do a tab. So if I say I go down here and I type tab E, give it a name, Lala, right? I got a new tab called Lala. I haven't saved it as anything. I'd have to type :W and give it a file name to save it after I do some typing, right? But if I do another tab, so I do a tab E, / proposal 2, that opens up proposal 2 from my parent directory, right? And as you guys can see, that's the inaugural speech from Henry V. You'll know that, right? I've got Shakespearean sonnets in there too. But I can see that tab and I can switch between the tabs. I can just go : tab N for the next tab, right? Here I'm at proposal 1, colon, tab N, there we go. And I'm at Lala, so it cycles through them, or P for previous, or I can escape and quit, right? Q bang, there we go. And I only have 2 tabs now. I can see my tabs, you know, colon, tab S, get it? Shows me my 2 tabs, but I can see them at the top, so it doesn't matter that I can do that. If you have a lot, it makes a difference, right? You have too many to see. Right? I don't use tabs. I use splitting more than tabs. I find that's faster. So you choose one or the other kind of thing, right? If we go back over here, the next one, here's some other things that are kind of cool. Who uses folding? I use folding a lot. And when you use folding in Vi? Nobody folds stuff in Vi? Oh, I love folding in Vi. Okay, if you haven't, who wants to know how to fold stuff in Vi? Okay, so it's so easy.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can do to it. There's a lot of settings that you can do for it as well. I keep it pretty simple, but some people kind of go over like, oh, I want to fold this, like say, fold the next 2 lines underneath the current line on my honor. So on my honor could be like the start of a loop or something like that, and then the rest, next 2 lines or next 50 lines or whatever, the contents loop. I don't want to see the contents loop. I just want to see that loop is there, right? In a section of code. I could do that command right there. Z starts the folding, fold 2 lines. So ZF to J. I folded those 2 lines. See that? But I still see the first line on my honor. It says there's 3 lines in total. I see the first line. How do I open it? ZO to open, ZC to close, ZD to delete. So Z calls this fold function. ZO, ZC, ZO, ZC. It's a lot of fun. ZD.
Does it save the folds?
Yes, you can. No, you have to do something. So I've set it to manual folding, but if you want to go down that rabbit hole, just go to help Z. And my God, there's a lot to it. If you actually go to set all and look at the number of fold settings. We don't have enough time to explain it. It's a lot of settings, trust me. But I don't go to that depth. I know I have gone to that depth, but I keep it nice and simple, and I do save my folds. But you want to, yeah, that would take up the rest of the time, or more, a lot more.
If you're editing code, you do silly things like fold everything between the brackets.
Fold everything
You have, if blah, blah, blah,
Yes,
open curly.
you can make a rule in your .exrc that automatically folds brackets of different types, and you can actually specify that you have to
At the
put a
max.
certain placeholder, a certain key for the fold automatic happen. That's called automatic folding, right? It's set to manual folding by default. Yeah, yeah. So that's what I was talking about. Yeah, that's a rabbit hole, but it's a good rabbit hole. Right? That's what I do actually. I do that automatic folding, so I don't actually have to do this command. Vim plugins, another rabbit hole. I kind of checked them out, and you put them in a .vim subfolder, and you just reference them. They're not that useful. Why has everything you need? You gotta do it on every machine. It sucks. It's not portable, right? So if you ever want to play with Vi plugins, Solarize is the one, and Solarize and Fugitive are the ones I've used. Fugitive integrates with Git nicely, but I found that I don't need them. I'm faster using other things. Okay, Vi has everything it needs in there. Or you can use a plugin manager if you're plugging crazy. This is my favorite one. I always add this to my dot. I always, to have fun with people, if they leave their terminal unlocked, I will buy their .vimrc or their .exrc, and I will set right left. You want to know what that does? So every time they open a file, it's set right left. It takes them a while to figure that out. It's glorious to watch. That's why I put it on here, because it has no other useful function whatsoever, but it's
In some countries it's useful.
Yeah, that's what they use Nano to edit their MRC files.
Okay, so I'm going to quit and say because it's not my .exrc as soon as I buy it again. It's done. gvim is just graph.vim. You have to install it by default. All it is like if I do a gvim /letter, just opens up a graphical Vim. It's the exact same Vim, like all the same stuff works perfectly, right? It's just, you got a little bit of extra, training wheels on the top and some functions and stuff like that. But all the same stuff will work, X mode and all that kind of stuff works. So I just escape colon and sound, unfortunately.
Can you use the mouse in the graphical wheel?
No. Oh, you can use it to highlight text, but you can use it to highlight the buttons, but like there's no other real functionality with the mouse.
Why they say it's graphical? Just the font?
Most makes you store. Why is it supposed to be, right? Yeah, I don't know why people insult you. I just put it on there because it's the last extra I got there. And of course, there's one, so basically over here, what are your favorite maybe tricks that I never mentioned? Anyone got some cool ones that you use a lot? Okay, cool.
So has anybody ever tried to edit a configuration file and then been told permission denied when you write it?
Oh, W band,
Raise your
yes.
hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, do you want me to speak it, or do you know?
Oh, W bang, me? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, W bang.
So, yeah, so if you do like Etsy sudoers or something, so if I go over here to like Etsy, so I buy Etsy, well,
Don't
say
do
I switch to the root.
Any other file. Post a file. Do post a file.
No. Come on. I'm in his root. See that? I'm gonna vi Etsy sudoers. But the thing is like any other program, vi obeys permission. So if I want to make a change, so you delete this comment. There we go. Escape colon W Q. I get an error message saying read only option is set because it obeys file permissions. Of course, it doesn't even give the root user the ability to write. So you just have to use W bang. It just tells vi I'm
this
root
is
in
better
it,
than that.
right?
Log back out of
There you
your
go.
privileged user.
Sorry.
Get out of root.
Oh, you don't want to do
Okay,
sudoers?
no, get out of root.
Yeah, get it out.
Edit that file again. Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Choose the host file. You can see it. Add a line. Open. Write it.
I'm just going to put, how about 10.3.101, 245 is called, go. Save, quit, read only option is set.
So this is what you do. You do colon, right space, exclamation point, space, sudo. Or no, actually, no space, sorry.
Well, this will run the sudo command.
Yeah.
So
sudo space T space %. TEE, sorry.
This will probably still work actually.
Is it an alien?
No, it's never turned one. Okay.
Yeah. So do up. I'm gonna pull up your last command. So do TEE space %.
So basically, you're saying it's standard output. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So what this command is doing is saying write to a program. The exclamation point says to a program. Sudo says is a sudo program, so write to the sudo program, and the sudo program will automatically say, hey, you're not root, give me your username or your password, and
saying
then
that's
it will
standard
pass
output,
standard
yeah.
input to
Yeah.
T, and then the %, and this is the weird happy bit, will automatically be the file name that you're in. So write to the file name you're in, and also echo to the screen, and then put back up.
That's kind of cool, but you can always probably signal that you should either be someone else or change the permissions of the file.
You shouldn't be running as root all the time. And so this is it for secure architectures
I'm a
where
bad
you're running as
person.
a non-privileged
Bad
user.
person.
This is, and you don't want to like accidentally bork servers. This is the way. You have to be explicit. Oh, no, I want to, this little thing is root. Everything else.
You could have just done sudo vi Etsy host.
But if you, this is
Why sudo?
This is if you realize you're trying to make a
Yeah.
file change.
This is
after the fact. Yeah.
Yeah, so like you'll go in and you'll be like, oh, it's not working. Let me look at the web server configuration. Oh crap, the port's wrong. Okay, I'll fix that. Oh crap, I can't write.
Or you could just open a new tab, copy everything to the new file.
Yeah, no, just go ahead and memorize this
Too many
magic.
keystrokes.
I
saw that trick.
would have, escape colon Q bang and done it properly. But I mean, it's good. It's kind of cool. Paul.
TE is this. It's everywhere.
Set paste.
Yeah. It's
Set
it's part of
paste,
the tools.
Okay, so it's I'm in my bin directory. There we go. So I'm just gonna do by letter
reset paste.
Okay, what does that do?
It's when you're copy and pasting from the internet, and if you have reasonable defaults for auto indenting, then if you copy and paste from the internet, it'll look awful, but if you do set paste, it won't. It'll ignore the auto indenting.
Yeah. There's also no AU, I think it is, or AI.
Yeah, SMAI, smart indent, auto indent,
Yeah.
all of those things.
Paste does a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Because normally if you paste a new line, it will do whatever you would do on a new line, like auto indent. Except the thing you're pasting already has
It's not
it.
pasting it. No, it didn't work for whatever I copied there. It says it's pasting it, but it's not.
Are you using the paste command, or you control the P? Or, yeah.
No, it's, yeah, Control V should work, right?
If you're in a terminal, you might need control shift.
Yeah, or the right
Yeah.
click.
Yeah, you know what, it's,
Oh yeah, there you're right. Yeah. Not too bad. That's Lala, by the way. Some singer there.
If you want to paste the operating system's buffer, try
Double quote P?
okay, so, let's try that one. Double quote P.
Register.
No, didn't work.
That's the freaky operating system for these guys.
Yeah, it didn't work for me, double quote P.
But do you have anything in your
I can't remember
global
if there's an
clipboard?
extra
It
configuration.
should be from here.
It's double quote, as opposed to a single quote, right? Because it's
Oh, yeah, oh,
two,
two.
yeah.
Yeah, two. Oh, yeah, I see. Double quote P. No, that just pastes my regular
But if you
buffer.
go double quote.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because
That's just regular paste buffer, right?
Because the double quote is registered. Yeah. The next one is being of the register. And then the actual new one. So double quote.
So-
Double quote.
So something I use a lot is when you want to do something to a group of lines. So let's just say we want to delete the second paragraph, lines six through 8. So you can do escape 6, 8D.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, colon 6 coming.
Oh, I see, 6,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
basically you're using like the regular expression format to do like
Yeah,
D3D.
so it's
right?
addresses,
Yeah.
and so 1 is, the first line is 1, I mean, that's obvious, the fifth line is 5, and the fifth line is the last.
That's like we were doing the search.
So you can do things
1,
like, if you're in a file and you're like, I don't want anything else in this file, dot, comma, and so some, colon, dot, comma, $D, and it'll just truncate from there on down. Or you could do it the other way around, you could truncate from the top down to you by saying 1, comma, dot.
Capital G.
Yeah, like you could, like
Yeah.
to line 1 to 12, you could search for Jeff and replace.
But this is a little more
Yeah.
flexible
There we go.
because you can do ad hoc. So like I'll be reviewing maybe a large document and I'll delete what I can see on the screen and I'll do it again and I'll do it again as I go through my review.
Yeah. And all sed commands will work right in the X mode, right? So anything fancy too.
The other good one is CI.
CI.
So if you drop a file path in there, it will give you an example.
Okay, in X mode?
But just paste a file path in the file, like you might have a.
So just paste like a file path and
Yeah.
like, okay.
Something with lots of slashes in it.
Okay, so.
There we go. And okay. Oh, I can't believe I did that. Hold on. And so CI.
Well, just drop it in there go to the word whatever.
We're
Below
okay?
the pad.
Yeah.
So you happen to be there, and you want to edit that file name. You can do CI/.
Command mode?
Yep. And then
Yeah.
I'll feel.
No?
No.
There might be something I have to turn on. I want to get rid of this. Here's something cool. If I pasted that and I want to get rid of that correct and all the counselors say the waiters, I could do a $D sign, right?
D to the end of the file.
Well, anyway, it should work with quotes. If you do CI quote, and you're in between quotes on this line, it will delete everything in the quotes and then place your cursor in the middle of the quotes. So
Oh,
it's change
okay.
in quotes. And you should be able to do change in slash, and on newer versions, it'll even match parentheses. Like
Is there an option to turn on for that to work, or a default option?
Not on my system, but
Yeah, weird.
yeah.
I was first looking up the help. They'll tell you the help if you
You
need
couldn't
it.
do it on 2.16.04, I think, but on 18.04, whatever new version they have, you can do
Well, this,
CI,
yeah, well, this is based on
open
19,
param.
right, so.
If you do open parentheses, it'll actually match in parentheses as well, so it doesn't have to be the same character. Now on
Yeah,
it's
and,
comparison.
and, well, that would be, the matching would be, set, show match, right? But there might be another show option that's on by default in the global file that maybe that one needs or something, right?
So one, and I can't contrive the situation, but it happens to be frequently enough that I've memorized this. So terminals can have a dark background or a light background. All people know that the right background is light. Okay, now you can throw me out the room. No, but sometimes you're in a terminal that has a light background for reasons, and the syntactical highlighting will kick off. You choose these wonderful neon colors you can't read. And so what you can do is type or it might be the other way around. You might have a dark background with colors that are way too dark, you can't read them. You can type :set space background equals light or dark to tell it your background's light or dark, and the syntactical engine will actually flip the color palette on you to make it more readable. So actually you edit some code, and we'll just go backwards so you can break the syntax highlighting.
So we
That's-
need to, like,
Yeah, so just edit one of your script files that's syntactically highlighted.
there we go.
Okay, and then do set space BG equals light. And you see how the color theme changes to something that's more readable on a light background. But it's a little harder to read on this dark background.
Yeah, so changing the properties of terminal application.
So it's just
Probably,
really,
if we had the light background in the terminal application, then that would make a bigger difference.
and so this is really handy because if you're moving between lots of computers all the time using every terminal under the sun, you can always tune that
That's pretty cool.
terminal to
Yeah.
whatever your environment
That's
is very
one I would
quickly.
probably use. Yeah, that's a good one. Anyone else go? Paul?
Should we call time?
Oh, yeah, it's called time. So anyone got like a last minute killer one? No?
How did you open the local menu?
How did I open the,
Local menu, before when you did the paste, you have like a right click menu?
oh, I just right clicked on my keyboard. Yeah.
That's just,
That's just in the terminal application.
Oh,
Yeah. I can make a new window, or I wouldn't make a new tab here because it's not in Vi, right? This is the actual program running the terminal. Here's another way to quit Vi. It's actually faster than Shift ZZ.
Yeah.
Oh crap, it's not faster. Okay, we'll try it anyway. There you go.
you mentioned that you did Xamarin development, so...
I don't do it anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, I developed a Xamarin cross-platform, went down that rabbit hole and then realized that it wasn't the best fit for what we were doing. Yeah. We've been in that situation before. After
So
like
that
6
case
months,
you
realized
didn't
maybe you should
use,
COBOL to do it, right?
You didn't go cross-platform from Linux to Windows or...
It works very well. Xamarin works really, really well. If you want to make, it's actually native app development, right? It pulls the controls in, you have to have the machines if you're going to do cross-platform.
Yeah, but I'm
development.
interested what editor you are using. Because with VI you can
Visual
have
Studio.
IntelliSense.
I use Visual Studio and Vi.
Oh.
Visual Studio Code and Vi.
So IntelliSense, can I have IntelliSense on VI? Or VI? Yeah.
No. Not that I know of, at least. No, that's why Visual Studio, who uses Visual Studio Code for a lot of stuff. Yeah, I love that. I mean, Microsoft has always made really good dev tools. So I'm I'm glad that they brought Visual Studio Code, was it 4 or 5 years ago?
But there are features that the VI beats Visual Studio. Yeah, I mean like power of editing and
Yeah, I guess
column
that's similar.
selection, something
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, you can customize it, right? It depends on what you're doing. Like when I'm working on a bigger project, I'll code something that has the tools I want. So you choose the tools you want based on what you need. That's how I approach everything.
I have one last little hint,
Yeah,
which
sure.
is sometimes you want to do an operation on, say, 100 files, and this is really hacky, but it's a lot faster than hitting paste over and over or like writing a for loop. You can do like an ls and get your list of files and dump them into a file, VI it, and then massage that file until it's a list of all the commands you want. So maybe you're renaming it, moving from one file name to the other, and some of them have spaces, some of them have some weird functional characters. So you don't want to write a for loop because you'll automate your mistakes. You want to see the output before you start so that you can scan it and then hit run. And so you can go ahead and put it in the file and then do substitutions on all lines at once. So copy this and add it with the new extension, then look over it, scroll it, review it, and then send it out with the right exclamation point, percent sign to process it. And do all those actions at once. So it's kind of hacky, like just a scratch space for writing a bunch of commands all at once automatically, but I use it occasionally.
What was our use case?
Yeah.
We also owe Jason a round of applause.
So let's say you have letters.